Hi guys, I'm back again with some more stories for you today. Let's go to the first one, about OP, who convinces her son not to marry his high school girlfriend. Well, he agrees, but OP now feels sorry for his ex and invites her to live with her, and the crap hits the fan. Listen to the story, guys, to find out all the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Most of this happened years ago, when my son, who is now 30, was in high school. He had a girlfriend, Beth, he was devoted to. They were together for 3 years. She became almost like a daughter to me. She was a sweet girl, but she had some problems, and there were times when she would treat my son badly, accusing him of cheating on her or intending to leave her. As far as I could tell, these accusations had no basis in reality, and my son was always blindsided, spending hours or days trying to convince her it wasn't true. Often he would be in tears not knowing what to do. It was awful. Sometimes he asked me for advice, and I would try to help him see that the situation was not sustainable. But in the end, he always managed to talk her around, and they would be okay for some months until the next time. Every time he was convinced it would be the last time, but as far as I could see, she only got worse. I knew speaking against her wouldn't work, but I hoped once he went away to college, he might gain some perspective. So when they started talking about getting married straight after graduation, I was very concerned. I decided to offer him a deal, that if he would hold off marrying her until after college, I would fund him completely, so he would not have to go into debt, which I pointed out would give them a better start together. He accepted, and within 6 months of him leaving, she was pregnant by someone else, and he was done. I was relieved, but sad to see how things went for her. She had 2 kids in 2 years with 2 different men, neither of whom stuck around. I was in touch with her a bit, and gave her money a couple of times. For a while she was mostly stable, but after having her 3rd child and getting left again, she had a breakdown and was looking at having her kids taken away. It broke my heart, because she really is a sweet soul and such a devoted mother. Seeing as she had no one else, I offered to let her live with me until she got back on her feet. And yes, I did ask my son. He moved across the country for work and is now happily settled with a wonderful partner. He says he considers Beth family, is happy for me to help as I see fit. Although things have been difficult all around, what with the virus, the kids are a joy, and Beth and I are, we're good friends. She has a new job and is taking evening classes. All was well until my sister visited and had a silly tiff with Beth, culminating in her telling Beth I was the reason my son didn't marry her at the end of high school. She had a complete meltdown, calling me manipulative, treacherous, evil, jealous, saying I stole the love of her life, even implying I had inappropriate feelings for my son. She now hasn't spoken one word to me in a week. I'm at my wit's end. Well, OP never forbade her son from marrying her. OP just asked him to go to college first. They broke up because of her actions, not OP's. That said, if she was accusatory and vindictive with OP's son, it shouldn't surprise OP when she ultimately turns accusatory and vindictive towards her. That's a part of her personality. She's not going to see OP as the kind-hearted mother figure who gave her money, a place to stay, love and support. She'll wind up seeing OP as just another person who betrays her, because that seems to be her pattern with the entire world. Also, what the duck was OP's sister thinking? Now she is definitely in the wrong here. And now let's hear if the community agrees with my opinion. Shebalba64205 says, "You made a good offer, and in doing so, prevented what would have been a toxic situation. You're not the a-hole for breaking them up, because you didn't. Her cheating did. You simply made an offer, a good one too, for them to wait on marriage, not stop the marriage. You took a gamble and won. However, you are the a-hole for inviting her to move in. You knew from watching her relationship with your son that she is not stable. You knew from watching her life become a mess that she was not stable. You invited toxicity into your home and wonder why things got toxic. Really? Your sister is a major a-hole. Beth is a soft a-hole, because obviously the girl has major problems. Soft, you're the a-hole for you. Your heart was in the right place, but your brain wasn't." She Stammy says, "Not the a-hole. The goodwill you've shown this woman has been above and beyond. You have nothing to apologize for. Incentivizing your son to make good life choices was the right thing to do. If she had any sense of self-reflection, she'd be horrified at how she treated your son, quite frankly. Be patient. She clearly needs support, but hold firm." Alf1 says, "Not the a-hole. Getting married out of high school is romantic, but a really dumb idea. Before they get into what's supposed to be a lifelong commitment, probably with children involved, people need to figure out who they are, and it takes much longer than high school to get that done. Beth having a meltdown after you've been so generous sounds like she still has more work to do. My brother and his wife were married for 4 years when my brother learned that his ex had a baby that she never told him about, and he was the father. The child in question was 9. My niece was a huge surprise for all of us. The last we knew, my brother's ex, Emma, was moving for a job she wanted to end the relationship. She only reached out to my brother after all that time because she had cervical cancer and knew she had nobody to take care of her daughter, Lucy. My brother met former sister-in-law Shannon a few months after he and his ex broke up. They started dating and got married and had tried for a baby, but Shannon was told she could not have a biological child due to PCOS. It broke Shannon's heart, and she struggled with the news. It was about 5 months later that the news of Lucy broke and things spiraled. A DNA test was carried out and proved my brother was the father. He was uncertain about a place in Lucy's life after all those years of them not knowing each other, but he did step up in the end. Shannon told him she could not stay if he was the father. She could not watch him raise his child with someone else. She could never love his child with someone else and would resent them both when she couldn't have a child. After Shannon left, she found out she was pregnant. She was told during the pregnancy that she should never have been told she couldn't have children. That the correct way of saying it would have been that it would be more difficult, but certainly not impossible. Shannon was 13 weeks along when she found out she was pregnant. My brother figured that would make her want to try and make things work. But Shannon did not want to be a stepmother and said they should continue to divorce and co-parent their son, Kai, who was now 1. So all in all, it has been almost 2 years since they learned about Lucy, and it didn't take long for the DNA results, so it's close to 2 years since the relationship ended. My brother went from being upset about Shannon not making it work to pissed off, and he badmouthed Shannon all the time. It got to the point where I grew tired of him saying it and defended her. I said it was better for her to leave than to stay and treat Lucy badly when she knew she didn't want to raise her. I even asked my brother if he would have stayed had he been in Shannon's shoes. My brother said I should be on his side and not Shannon's, and I'm defending the unforgivable. Am I the a-hole? I understand Shannon's reason for leaving, but I also understand OP wanting to defend Shannon, as she did nothing wrong. But also, OP's brother has every right to feel overwhelmed and betrayed since he's been through a lot. It is not his fault he was lied to and had his child hidden from him. From his perspective, it's been one bombshell after another. His ex has cancer. His ex hid a kid from him. He does the right thing and steps up. His wife wants nothing to do with him anymore. His wife is now pregnant with his kid. I really pity OP's brother. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Mall Level says, not the a-hole. I mean, it is her choice. Being sad about it is his right, of course. But talking badly of her for just leaving him because she didn't want to be a parent to someone who is not her daughter is just not fair. I have to say I can understand that he wanted to care for his biological offspring. It even sounds like she accepted that he did choose the child over her, which is a fair choice. But there would have been women who would have said that this has some sort of betrayal, although I think this would not be a fair assessment. I believe it would be emotionally understandable. OK Collection says, brother is the a-hole for badmouthing Shannon, as they are still co-parenting, and that can negatively affect Kai. I can see both perspectives here, though. He feels that Shannon should have stood by him through thick and thin. He never cheated on Shannon. Rather, he found out after the fact about Lucy. Shannon did some self-reflection and felt that in the long term, she wouldn't be able to control her feelings and didn't want Lucy to receive any negativity from her that she doesn't deserve. Lots of feelings involved here. Perfect Pomelo 3 says, not the a-hole. Not everyone wants to be a step-parent. It's a thankless job, where you are doing all the hard work of parenting while constantly being reminded that you aren't the parent and you need to know your place. If she wasn't up for that job, then she did the right thing by leaving. Unless she knew she was capable of treating his daughter and her son the same, and loving them the same, she would have been in the wrong for going back to your brother. Does he not love his daughter enough to see that? How hard would it have been for the little girl to see her brother grow up with a loving mom while hers was gone? I, 37 female, and my brother, Michael, 40 male, are both child-free. Our sister, Jennifer, 31 female, has one daughter, Emma, 15 female. She's the only grandchild and nibbling, and we all adore her. Jen has made some questionable decisions in her life and has struggled a bit, but we've always been there to help her. Jennifer was just 16 when she had Emma, so she lived with Michael and his husband until she was 3 while Jen was in school. I live near Michael, and Emma saw me more than her own mother during that time. When Emma was 7, Jennifer married a man with a daughter who is the same age as Emma and 2 younger kids. They're not poor, but with 4 kids, they don't have a lot of disposable income. Jennifer's stepkids have everything they need, but not always everything they want. However, Michael, our parents, and I can afford to spoil Emma, so we get her pretty much anything she wants. Despite this, she's not spoiled and is a very well-adjusted young lady. We give the stepkids gifts on birthdays and Christmas, but Emma has more expensive things than them because we can afford to buy her a lot more than their parents. We also have a college fund for Emma that should cover most or all of her college costs. Jennifer is usually glad we love her daughter and understands that we don't have the same bond with her stepkids and cannot afford to spend as much money on them as we do on Emma. Jen's husband does not like us very much. He doesn't want Michael and his husband to be around his kids too much. He also thinks I'm a deviant because I'm single by choice, live with my best friend, and don't want kids. We've argued with him many times because he thinks we're a bad influence on Emma and his kids. Honestly, I don't know what my sister sees in this guy. Our latest argument happened because I bought Emma a homecoming dress. Her stepdad doesn't like the boy she's going with and told her that he's not spending any of his money on a stupid dance. He doesn't want to seem like a hypocrite, so he's not buying his daughter a dress either. The dress cost about $500, including accessories. Emma's stepsister had to buy her own dress. Michael also hosted a little after-party for Emma's friends. Yesterday, Emma's stepdad called me and said that he doesn't like my favoritism, and if Michael and I can't do as much for his kids, then we need to do less for Emma. I basically told him to duck off, but in a somewhat polite way, and he is currently mad at me. Jen said that he told Emma that she needs to stay away from me. Jen thinks I could have at least bought her stepdaughter a cheaper dress, but I don't see why I should. She has 2 sets of parents who could have bought her a dress, and I don't have much of a relationship with her. Am I the a-hole? Well, looks like brother-in-law doesn't like any of them, but does like the contents of their wallets. Brother-in-law should not expect OP and her brother to buy things for his daughter. She has her own parents, aunts, and uncles. I wonder if they do the same for OP's niece. Gadget Girl says, not the a-hole. Jen's husband has driven a wedge between you and his kids, preventing you and your brother from bonding with them. So I don't see any problem with your playing favorites at this point, especially given how your brother essentially raised Emma for the first few years. Chance Cod 2894 says, not the a-hole. Stepdad doesn't get it both ways. Sad that after 10 years there couldn't be better relations, but he chose it to be that way. Jen should have put her foot down about that from the beginning. Why the hell would she marry a hateful person after everything her brother and his husband did for her? Outside Guidance 4752 says, not the a-hole obviously. Keep doing what you're doing. It's completely unreasonable to expect you to put in the same time and money for new stepchildren compared to the actual niece you helped raise. They have their own parents, aunts, and uncles. My ex, 33 female, and I, 33 male, share 3 children, Alana, 10, Jonah, 8, and Colum, 7. My ex cheated on me 2 years ago and left to be with her affair partner, who is now her husband. She and I share custody of our children, 50-50 timeshare, while they have full custody of her husband's 2 children from his previous marriage that ended with the affair as well. I was always an active dad in our kids' lives, and we had our own little traditions, from baking brownies the day before they go back to school and having a little brownie party, to baking cookies for their birthdays and letting the birthday kid pick what kind we make, to doing a group photo for Halloween every year with our costumes, and doing silly faces, and our Christmas shopping day where I take the kids and we make a day out of buying the gifts. We go out to eat, get photos taken, sing Christmas songs in the car, etc. They might not be the most traditional traditions around, but I've done this for years with the kids. My ex asked our kids if we still did those things recently, and they said yes. She then told me I should include her stepkids in these sometimes, because our 3 are bonding during these experiences and are coming together as a group that doesn't include their step-siblings. And since her stepkids are not going to know our kids as step-siblings, but will only know them as siblings, because of the age and the fact that they always had my ex and their dad, it would be cruel to let them be frozen out like that when I could help the bond. I told my ex I did not want to include her stepkids. I said she could come up with traditions for them to do as a family unit if she wants. But I'm not going to be more involved with her cheating butt or her affair partner than I need to be. I told her being civil for the kids is the best we can ever be, and there's no way I want to take responsibility or bond with her stepkids. She called me a jerk and said I'm putting my feelings before those of two young kids. She said it won't bother our kids at all because they'll always see the stepkids as interlopers, but two little kids will always feel othered, and it will be my fault because I'm a jerk. She also accused me of being gleeful about the pain of kids. This is not true at all, but she thinks that my having this boundary is me rubbing my hands together like a cartoon villain. Am I the a-hole? Evening Spend 8088 says, not the a-hole, unless your kids are actively asking and want their step-siblings to join them sometimes. As you said, it is her job to facilitate bonding when she has all the kids together, not yours on your own dime and time. Efficient T 4843 says, not the a-hole. You are not responsible for someone else's children, and it is totally normal for blended families to have different traditions. The issue is that she wants them to grow up without anything triggering that potentially awkward question. So why did this all happen in the first place? She wants the affair to not have had any perceived negative impact on the children. But in reality, things are just a bit more complicated than that. It's not your job to make things super easy for her, and you having different traditions with your kids isn't letting the stepchildren down, unless they are told by her that they are letting them down. It's just how your family works, and that's okay. Like you said, she just needs to make sure they also have their own traditions. Wheaton Neat says, not the a-hole. Your ex is delusional. Her stepchildren are not your concern or responsibility, and she's got some nerve calling you a jerk for not wanting to bond with her affair partner's children. Phew, I don't understand how she even came up with that twisted logic.